Welcome back, everybody, to 31 1990s horror movies for Halloween, where I'm counting down my 31 favorite horror movies from the 1990s. We're getting to that point where I'm getting a little loopy here, so apologize for me if I do some weird voices or tangents or anything. Anyway, today we've got a horror movie that's just such a blast, and that is Tales from the Crypt Presents Demon Knight.
This property is hereby condemned.
If you just want a fun horror movie, Demon Knight is a fun horror movie. Of course, this was made by the people who did the Tales from the Crypt TV show. Many horror fans grew up with the Tales from the Crypt TV show, except me. I didn't have too many cable channels when I was a kid, and my mom wouldn't let us watch this stuff. It was eventually my dad who would allow us to watch horror movies. They were separated, so it was joint custody. So I wasn't introduced to Tales from the Crypt until much later. Demon Knight was my introduction to Tales from the Crypt.
Yes, in the eye!
And of course, when I watched it, all I could think was, where have you been all my life? You know the kind of guy I am. I love the horror genre as a whole. I love the classic horror movies. I love the serious, atmospheric horror movies. I love the pretty horror movies that can be a little more on the artsy side. And I love me some goofy, fun horror B-movies. I always say this, just because a movie's a B-movie doesn't make it a bad movie. Not at all. So Demon Knight, it does have an Evil Dead vibe to it. I mean, the original Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 inspired so many movies that came out afterwards. And yes, Demon Knight does feel like it was definitely inspired by Evil Dead. But just because something is inspired by a movie, that's not a bad thing at all. I mean, hell, I'm an Italian horror fan, and how many Italian ripoffs have I praised over the years on this channel? But it's also a very creative story. It starts with this guy, Bryker, speeding down the road in his car, and he's being pursued by what looks like a lawman, played by Billy Zane. One thing leads to another, there's an explosion, and Bryker makes his way to this inn, which is, it's sort of this bar/inn kind of place in the middle of nowhere. Billy Zane follows him there, and it's soon revealed that he's a demon, and he wants this key that Bryker is holding. It's a key and also a vial that has blood in it, and we find out that Billy Zane is the collector. He's a demon after this key, and we have a fun movie with one of the most entertaining and underappreciated horror movie villains in Billy Zane as the collector.
Fuck this cowboy shit! You fucking ho-dunk, po-dunk, well then there, motherfuckers!
Everybody knows that line. When you think of Demon Knight, that is the first thing that pops into your head. Billy Zane going, you fucking ho-done, mo-done, well done there, motherfuckers! And so yes, Billy Zane does make this movie. Not to say it would not be entertaining if he wasn't playing the collector, because the story is very interesting. Okay, Bryker has this key, and Billy Zane brings back summons these demons to try and get in the house. Of course, the key has blood in it that he can use as a barrier to keep the demons out.
Need a hand? Give me the key, Bryker, for crying out loud!
So yeah, it is a very interesting movie, and it does have a lot of originality in it. It does retread familiar territory, but it also has some originality as well. It's got great kills, it's got great monsters. I love the designs of the creature in this. I can't show too much because I'm not sure if YouTube will appreciate some of the imagery. But yeah, it is still entertaining. But Billy Zane as the collector is what takes this from a solid, fun movie into a damn good horror movie. he's having a blast in the role, and the character himself is just someone who doesn't have a care in the world. He treats the world like it's his plaything because he's a demon, he's immortal, he can do so much in this world, and the rules don't really apply to him. Sure, there are some barriers here and there, but he can find his way around them if he needs to. He's like if a cartoon character came into our world, lost some of his cartoon abilities, but he didn't realize that he lost his cartoon abilities. Like, in his mind, even though he is, for the most part, a normal-looking person, in his mind, he's still a cartoon.
If it makes you feel good, do it.
It makes you feel good, do it.
I like a villain that has a good time. There's a reason so many people love Freddy Krueger, because he has this gallows humor, and even though he's doing horrible things, he is relishing in what he's doing, and we, the audience, we're having a good time with him. It's the same thing with Billy Zane. Now, Demon Knight, of course, is nowhere near as much of a classic as Nightmare on Elm Street, but it doesn't need to be. I mean, it's its own thing. And the side characters are intriguing as well. Every one of them has their own story, their own personality, so you do care about these people. There are one or two asshole characters, which I'm okay with that as long as everybody in the movie is not an asshole. It's fine to have some asshole characters who are just there for cannon fodder. But yeah, it works. It works. That's the whole thing. I mean, the comedy works, the gore works, the suspense works. It just all blends together. And that's something you want around Halloween. Of course, you want your scary horror movies, but you also want your fun horror movies. The ones that mix the scares and the humor and the fun so well together. Those are the movies that make for the best movie nights with friends. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem showing my friends some really messed up stuff just to see their reaction. But for the most part, if you're having a movie night, you want everybody to have a good time, and Demon Knight would be a good time for a movie night, especially a Halloween movie night. So yes, Demon Knight is what got me into Tales from the Crypt. I wish I had seen it sooner in my life. But Demon Knight, yeah, it's so much fun, it's underrated, and it has a fantastic villain, one that deserves to be praised. Yeah, Demon Knight, hey, get a bunch of friends together for Halloween and get some popcorn, get some candy corn, if you like candy corn, and just have a good time with Demon Knight and watching Billy Zane go crazy. This has mostly been a Billy Zane love fest for this movie, for this video, but hey, that's not a bad thing.
Come on out, everybody! It's time to play! Hello!
Or not.